David, congrats on Mob Cops. I loved the film. I really enjoyed it, and
Okay.
I really enjoyed your performance. And when you're playing a crooked cop, and it doesn't get more crooked than what these two guys wind up doing, but there's a real slippery slope when it comes to corruption because they take that oath, the protect and serve, and they usually mean it when they initially come on board, but that honor just fades away over time. How is it finding the humanity in your character Sammy while he was doing all these awful things? Because we do get to see later on that he is grappling with the what's going on at least.
Absolutely. It was interesting playing a character like this. I've played a lot of cops throughout the years. Like for some reason, I play them quite a bit, and I know a lot of cops in my life. So to sort of understand where he went, he had been to Vietnam. He'd been a cop for years. It was a really corrupt time in the NYPD's history. And he's surrounded by these guys, and I just imagined him seeing all these new, neighbors that he knows, and all these people around the neighborhood that, seeing him in new Cadillacs, and kind of wanting some nice things for him and his family as well. And then, the way I justified it in my mind as this character was that he didn't see himself as doing anything really bad. He was getting bad guys off the street without having to go through the judicial system. He was just kind of taking it into his own hands. And, his biggest fear was being exposed and people, like seeing that he wasn't this decorated police officer, that he'd been, part of the mob and doing some of the dirty work for them.
Yeah, I love the last act in particular because it flashes forward. We see your character at a later stage of his life, and he just wants, nothing to do with the fame. The other guy in real life actually became an actor some when
Yeah.
he was out in Vegas. Crazy stuff. How is it, getting to show that other sides to the character where we see his, all the action during his cop career, but we see him later on where he's much more mellow out. How is it showing that different side?
It was great. I mean, Jeremy Luke plays the other cop in it. So it's like these two crooked NYPD cops. And he's just such a tremendous actor. And these guys were really friends. Like they knew each other. Their families hung out. Like they, raised their kids together. They were really close. When they moved to Las Vegas, they moved in the same community together. So they were really tight. There's like a odd couple element to them where one's sort of loud and boisterous, the other one's like a lot more quiet and just kind of a silent killer. So it was interesting to play with that dynamic and allow like Jeremy to really shine, and he's just so tremendous in it, and not allow. I don't mean it like that, but you take a back seat, you become the straight man. You know what I mean? Uh, so that was really a fun opportunity, and it's really easy. He's a wonderful actor and just a really great guy. So it's easy to have that kind of camaraderie, and but when you skip ahead, his big fear was being exposed, not being, you know, under like recognized as this decorated police officer and getting busted. He knew that the strange thing is this guy was on like, Jeremy Luke's character was on Goodfellas, like all these different roles. And after the we filmed this thing, Jeremy Luke sends me this clip from Lost Highway with my sister Patricia, and he's in a scene with this guy. She's in a scene with him. I couldn't believe it. It was like this really strange world. So it really kind of brought it home to reality. But the truth of the matter is there are people that were really affected by this and it really hurt families. And, we obviously changed the names to protect the innocent. And yeah, I couldn't believe what these guys had gone through. my character was, he didn't want to get the spotlight. He didn't like any of that stuff, and that was causing him a lot of anxiety toward the end of his life.
I also thought the core casting was so interesting because, as you mentioned, you've played a lot of cops in your career. Jeremy's played a lot of mobsters, so it was like these two different sides joining together in this very fun combination where you're kind of blending those roles. How is it, instead of most of the cops, which were more upstanding, how is it kind of playing into that darkness with your performance?
It was cool. I mean, Jeremy grew up in Staten Island, and Joey Russo and Bo Dietl and Lorenzo. There's all these guys that knew this world very clearly. So it was easy to sort of talk to them and understand like where these guys are coming from, just watch their mannerisms. And there's just there's an amazing line between, it kind of is about family. It kind of is about, the sort of, I don't know, I guess it's a toxic side of men, where the violent element and the like kind of tough guy element, fighting, drinking, womanizing. It's like there's a real I don't know, it's a real like wild world to be able to like kind of tap into that and walk that line. My character though was a family man. Like he really did like, in his mind, did it all for his family, did it all for like, you know, um, just getting these bad guys off the streets. As crazy as that sounds, but I really do believe that's why he did it. And he had experienced war, so for him, death was just another sort of uh, element of it all. That if you mess up, you get killed.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes sense, and I think that conclusion makes sense from what you just outlined. And you mentioned playing a lot of cops. One of those cops was Dewey in Scream. It's very exciting. Scream Seven's coming up. What was your initial response when you found out that they wanted you back? Because you had said your goodbyes. He was dead. That had to be a wild call to get.
It was. I mean, it was a spoiler. It wasn't supposed to be released. It was supposed to be a surprise. And I'm not really like supposed to talk about it too much, but Kevin Williamson was directing, and that was a real thrill. And it's amazing to see him be able to have that opportunity and to get Nev back in this one, and Matthew. I mean, it's exciting. Uh, I love playing the role of Dewey, and will always love playing the role of Dewey.
I love that. Fans can't wait to see you back. And my last question for you is the 25th anniversary of Ready to Rumble. Weirdly, it wasn't Scream from the Rooftops, but it's a really fun time capsule. I know the run in WCW kind of overshadowed the film, but how do you kind of look back purely on the movie? Because it is fun to revisit.
Yeah, it actually has a staying power. I mean, the fact that Macho Man's in it and all these amazing wrestlers, and getting to work with so many greats on that film, Oliver Platt, Scott Conn. I really loved it. I was kind of like a kid in a candy store being a wrestling fan and being able to be a part of that movie, and that it stood the test of time. It's kind of like people still love it as a kind of a, you know, guilty pleasure kind of film. And then to see WrestleMania and how huge wrestling is right now, it's just great. And I did that documentary, and I learned a lot about wrestling. The independent circuit, and you go city to city and you meet the fans, and you see these, grandmothers that have been going for years, and went with their grandmothers. You know what I mean? So it's like it's there's something about it that's also kind of like mob, a little bit of the mob. Like there's a family element, there's a generational element, there's like this kind of the highly testosterone filled environment, and it's interesting. It's really you have to be super tough, you know, tough uh, with just what you put your body through, the kind of grueling schedules, the pain you're in. Um, yeah, so I have the utmost respect for wrestling.